Ultimate tends to be the sport that resonates with people who don't traditionally like the sports culture or didn't really get into sports. And the Atlanta demographic of players is a little bit more diverse, but across the country, a lot of PhD students, a lot of like graduate students, and so like a lot of nerds is I guess what I'm getting at.
Ultimate.
Really, yeah, tend to gravitate towards the community and the culture of the community. So
Well, yeah, it's a good spot then. I mean,
yeah.
with all the universities we have here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Atlanta is one of the like bigger, five or so biggest like cities in the country for Ultimate as far as communities goes. It's like Boston, Seattle, um, DC. There's like all the major metros have the best like youth communities and therefore pipelines to have the best talent.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Yeah, it does. Yeah. A lot of Georgia Tech grads
Yeah.
play Ultimate.
My wife coaches the Georgia Tech men's team, and there's probably 120 college teams that compete in the D1 level, and then there's D3. So it's like every university and college has a club group that plays, and so that's where a lot of people find it, and a lot of people decide to be in college for a long period of time.
Hello, and welcome to DeKalb Talks Tourism, our podcast. We are very excited to have two with the Atlanta Hustle, a pro ultimate frisbee team. And I'd like to welcome Drew and John. And please tell us a little bit about yourselves.
All right. Yeah.
Fight over who's going to start first.
We haven't worked on our shtick yet, but
No, not
yeah.
yet.
Yeah, I'm John Boezi. I'm the managing partner of the Atlanta Hustle. So I serve as the business operator as well as the general manager for the team. And I've been with the team since its inception in 2015. So anything day to day with the team, as well as team operations, kind of goes through me.
Yeah, my name's Drew Ellis, sales and operations for the Atlanta Hustle. Joined in December of 2022, so going in 3-4 months now with the Hustle. My role is sales and operations, so kind of a dual role. Help out with sales and marketing and branding for the organization, and then also on the operations side, help with the game day staff, game day setup, as well as help managing that process with Silverbacks Park. So really excited to join John and join you today.
So if anybody out there listening to us wants to get involved with the Atlanta Hustle, you're the one to talk to.
I'm the one to talk to. Yes,
Yeah, we love that. Well, you had your first game against the Alley Cats, and you all won 23-14. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was. It felt amazing. So, we played Indianapolis, which is a crossover opponent. So it's the only team outside of our division we're going to play this year. So they came down from Indy for a challenge, and we had a great match. We came out really, really hot, and we kept the lead pretty much going the whole time. We have a brand new coach this year, Coach Tuba Benson Jaja, and he's been really working the guys through the preseason. Really difficult offseason getting these guys ready to go, and they responded just absolutely beautifully. So expectations are sky high now for the season. We need to manage those with our, we have a match coming up this Friday against a really big opponent who won the division last year, and so we're going to really have a litmus test for how good we are this Friday.
Yeah.
So this Friday, the Atlanta Hustle is going to be playing the Carolina Flyers.
That's right.
So what time is the game?
8:00 on Friday.
And you're going to be at Silverback Stadium. So it'll be exciting to get anybody to come out and see that. So you were talking about the team with the Alley Cats were not in your typical league. So tell us a little bit about how far does your league go and how many different teams are there?
Yeah, that's it's an ever expanding league. So I probably should know. I think it's 25,
Yep.
but it's the entire country basically, and there's 2 teams in Canada. And so our division, the South Division, includes Carolina, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, and Austin.
Yep.
And so there's 3 teams in Texas now. Where it started off, where we had Nashville and Tampa Bay as well. And so there's some contraction and there's some expansion every year. But we have all the major markets. You have New York, you have DC, you have San Francisco, LA, Seattle. So we're all over the place. And some of the teams will get the opportunity to travel and play. We're going to actually go and do a doubleheader in Boston and New York this year. During COVID, we had an issue with Canadian teams couldn't get across the border. And so we had to merge divisions. We created this super division that was really, really exciting. And since then, all the teams want to play each other again. It's been really great not to play the same folks 3 or 4 times in the season.
So who would you say, or can you say you have the arch rival that you just really want to? beat?
I'm a Georgia Tech graduate, and so I like to, when people ask me that question, I'll say UGA, but the truth is it's not UGA, right? And so that's sort of how it's been with the Carolina Flyers, who were playing on Friday. They've won the division a few years in a row. They've gone and won a championship, and we're always right there with them, but they've had our number. The other team, though, that we really have I think we actually have a 50-50 record against them all time is the Austin Soul, and we play them on May 12th. So those are the two teams that made the playoffs. Last year, the Soul had an epic comeback to beat us on the road and knocked us out of the playoffs. So there's a little bit of vengeance there. So I think this year in particular, we have both of those teams circled.
So the 5th, you're playing here at home at Silverbacks. On the 12th, you're in.
No, we're also at home. We got a three-game homestand to start off the season, which is a little unique, but it's also great that we get all this ultimate right away in the great weather of the spring here in Atlanta.
Well, it also sounds like these are the two big games you want to be at, because this is your rivals,
Yes.
the 5th and then the 12th. And, we don't want to get the fans out there and see all of them, but we definitely want them to come out here and see these two big games.
That's right, and the Indy was also a playoff team last year. So us winning big against the playoff team sets our expectations high, like I said. And so we come out here. I think we're going to know a lot about the playoff standings and projections for teams after these first 3 weeks. It's going to be good.
Now we're going to switch back into a little more history, I guess. Drew, what's your background to be in the sports and entertainment sales?
Yeah, I actually started my career in sports with the Georgia Force, which is an arena football team. At that time, they were owned by Arthur Blank and the Atlanta Falcons. Started there. Minor league sports is hard. Minor league sports is a difficult animal. They actually went out of business, but luckily for me, I had a great manager who had recently left to join the inaugural team, the Gwinnett Braves at that time.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually joined with the Gwinnett Braves for an inaugural season. Great experience. Got to do everything. I was doing sales, marketing, promotions. I was the mascot a couple of times when we were going out to see clients. And so, yeah, it was a great experience, and really parlayed that to another stint with the Georgia Force that came into existence again. Was the operations manager there. Worked with the Gwinnett Center, doing premium sales there, and then took some time off, went into, I guess, corporate America, and then I saw this opportunity with the Hustle, really up my alley. Had played Ultimate in high school, played a little club in college, knew the sport, and the role fit kind of what I wanted to do and get back into the sports arena. So, here I am today with this great experience with the Hustle and being able to jump into a team that's growing, a team that's passionate, from the owners all the way down to Coach Tuba and the players. Everybody's so passionate about the sport, passionate about their team, as well as passionate about the community and what they do. And that's kind of something that really resonated with me, and glad I made that decision.
Well, that's actually going to be our next question about how the AUDOL is the fastest growing sport in America. But you brought up something I can't resist.
Okay.
Mascot. Can we get
yes.
him into a mascot outfit?
Oh, no.
I mean,
It was not covered directly in the interview, but we don't have a mascot, and so there was no need to be wearing any mascot.
And that's why I took the job, because there was no mascot. Yeah, I was.
He says he doesn't like to wear purple, so that's also an issue.
That's definitely an issue. So our mascot will definitely not be purple. But
Yeah, what would a Hustle be to you?
I don't know. That's when I heard that, I thought, I am not going to let that go by.
I was hoping you would just let that.
Well, tell us, why is ultimate frisbee the hottest sport out there?
Well, I mean, it's on par with soccer as far as the most inexpensive sport to get going. Right?
Okay.
So, like, all you need is a disc and some cones and a field, and you can get out there and kids can get going. So it's really an accessible sport from that perspective. And then I think the thing that really has people fall in love with the sport is the disc and the flight of the disc itself. So ball pretty much goes in a straight line. It drops a little bit in the air, but you throw it, you aim it, and you throw it. With a disc, you can be creative. You can shape your shot like you can in golf. You can turn a corner. You can throw it over a defender and drop it down. You can throw an upside down throw. So there's like 6 or 7 different flight trajectories that you can get good at, and the guys on our team can do them all. So if there's a receiver open, they can find him, and we got fans just oohing and ahhing what they can do with the disc.
So I've got to ask, can you run with the disc, or is it like theoretically basketball, you have to pass it all the time?
Yeah, so the basic premise is right. Like you imagine a football field, and one team will throw the disc to the other, just like you would kick off in football. Then once the offense has it, you have to pass to your teammates, and you can't run with it. So once you make a completion, you have 3 steps to come to a stop instead of pivot like you do in basketball. So once you're pivoting, you can pivot as long as you want to, but if a defender comes within 10 feet of you, they start a stall count. So at that point, you get 10 seconds in some versions of Ultimate, 7 in the AUDL to get the disc off and advance it to one of your teammates, and you try to work your way down and score in the end zone for 1 point.
So one of the things it sounds like is an exciting game, and it doesn't. It gives you the built-in mechanism that you can't really use the clock up or stall. So I mean, everybody likes action. So tell us a little bit about how you were voted the best fan experience. What do you all do to make, besides the game being exciting, what do you all do to make it even more exciting for the visitors?
Yeah, for our fans, we're very fan centric. From the moment you step into the stadium, we've got music going, got the excitement going as well. And then during the game itself, we've got a great MC that's getting the crowd hype and excited. It's a fast paced game, so you're on the edge of your seat the whole entire game. And then one thing that's very unique to Ultimate and to the Atlanta Hustle, as opposed to any other sport you'll see, especially here in Georgia, is that at halftime, fans can come onto the field and throw disc. So while the teams are in the locker room, getting themselves together, strategizing for third and fourth quarter, halftime, our field's open, and you'll see the whole entire field is filled with kids, adults, just throwing frisbees. So my first game, professional game, was this past Saturday, and to see that and see the field full of just fans just throwing disc and having fun, that was amazing to me, and I really liked that. I was taking pictures and sending it to my friends, say, "Hey, look at this, look at this." We want to put that on social media as well, to where, 15 minutes halftime, you're on the field, you're throwing. And you don't get to be on the field during a Falcons game or a Braves game. So that's very unique to our fans. And even after the game, our players are signing autographs. You've got families throwing the disc an hour after the game is ended. And that's something you don't see. And that's something that's very fan friendly. And then not to mention, our prices are fan friendly as well. You can bring a family of 4 out, and you're not going to spend more than 60, if that, dollars for tickets and food. So that's definitely something that is important to our league. We like that, and we take pride in the fact that we're giving the best fan experience possible.
So that brings up a couple of things. As I was listening to you, with all the kids and adults out on the field passing the frisbee, do you have any type of records or thoughts about, do you get more players like thinking about this as a career from being out there in the field where they might not have ever thought about it?
Oh, for sure. We see our role in the community as an ambassador of the sport, right? So we're the first touch point for so many people who've never experienced the sport. A lot of times it might be someone who played in college, and then now they have a family. They bring their family out. The kids they love it, right? So now they want to play in a school team. They want to play in a local league, and then they play in high school, and then they play in college. And then we've got some guys on the team this year and last year that were completely Atlanta youth pipeline products that went to the national championship game in college, and now they're playing at the pro level, and it's fantastic to see that kind of evolution all the way through.
Now, are there club teams to get you up into the pros?
That's right. There's a whole structure where you can play with your middle school, you can play with your high school. There are club versions of that where you can cross over and be like an AAU kind of situation where there's a national tournament. And then, if you go to college, you want to pursue it there, then you try out for that college team. Once you're an adult, there is also an amateur level where you can try out for the local area teams. There's anyone can start one, and then they have to compete through a series and try to, qualify for that national tournament as well.
So when you're a pro player, is it a full-time job?
No, much like lacrosse, it's a weekend thing. These guys are putting in a professional effort and professional time, but it's a passion and pursuit of passion for them. Most of them are, fully employed, and some of them are, college students who are off for the summer. But for the most part, you're seeing like young professionals who have the flexibility in their life to, spend their weekends traveling across the Southeast.
Now, do you have certain schools that you all work with, like in the Atlanta area?
From a youth perspective,
Yes.
yeah. So we have a whole sub brand called Atlanta Hustle Futures, and that's all of our youth programs. So we have a camp that we run. It's a week-long camp, a commuter camp. We also do parks and recs. We work with city parks and rec groups to run camps through their summer offerings, and so we'll go to a lot of the cities in the area and basically run these kind of small groups. But so through that, we have a relationship with all the major high schools and middle schools in the area that have teams. We try to reach out. We have a program called the Player Practice Program where you can sign up to have one of the Hustle players come out to one of your practices and work with your coach and the kids and get them really excited about Ultimate and help that coach with some additional expertise.
So that's kind of a good question. So when you have a high school student who is interested, any type of advice to how to get to the big leagues?
Well, so it's interesting. We were talking a little bit before we got on here about how certain types of people are attracted to Ultimate Frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
The culture and the community is so special in Ultimate, and it's born out of being a little bit different from other sports cultures, right? There are some people who were excellent soccer players or basketball players, but they kind of washed out because of this like cutthroat mentality. And Ultimate is a little bit more community focused, right? And so some of those people will come to Ultimate and they'll be like, wow, this is great. I love this. And as we've gotten more and more high-level athletes into Ultimate, it's gotten a little bit more competitive and a little bit more structured in how people have prepared, right? So we've got people going to camps all summer long. They're playing in their they're playing in their local leagues and on their team for their schools, and then they're going to college, specifically choosing the college that they think has the best program, right? And then that's putting them in a position that they can come to try out for the Hustle. And we've already seen them before. We've seen film of them playing in college and so forth. We know who the top players are, but there's some people every year who come and wow us, and they make the team out of nowhere, and that's a fun part of the sport right now.
That's pretty cool. So if you're in school,
Yep.
you just start playing.
That's right. And we have there's another pipeline too, where or a path forward where we have a player, Jakeem Polk, who played college football. He was a defensive back, and he tried to make it pro. I think he had maybe a couple tryouts with the CFL. And then he was playing a little bit of Ultimate on the side. And then he decided once his football career wasn't going anywhere, he went full in on Ultimate. Now he's one of the best players in the country.
So if you want to describe the game, describe the experience, you want to get our listeners to come out to the game, whether it's the 5th or the 12th or the ones in June, what would you tell them that's the hook to get them out?
I'm gonna pitch this one over to Drew, but first I wanted to add one point about the experience that I think is personally great is that it's a mobile experience, right? It's like, when you go to a Braves game, you sit in a very tight seat and you're kind of stuck there, right? You can go to the bathroom, you can go to the concessions. That's it. With us, you can pick your seat, you can pick your vantage point, you can move around if you see people because it's a tight knit community. Yep. You can go sit with your friends, say hello, you can mingle. Then there's a bar with a restaurant. There's an outdoor patio, all of which you can sit and watch the game while you're having your dinner. And you can go to the play zone. There's a lot of places within the stadium that you can roam around as well as go on the field and throw. So I think that's really, really like a special and unique part of the Hustle.
So how long is the game?
It's about 2 hours.
Yeah, about 2 hours.
So you have a halftime about 30 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
So you can go out on the field and probably throw the Frisbee before the game. You have 10 minutes in between. At the end, you can meet up for dinner, a drink.
Absolutely.
You can, like you said, you can bring your family or you can meet up with other families. I think it's a great environment.
Yeah, it's a real good environment, family-friendly, fun. As John had mentioned, it's, you can get up, you can talk. We've got a great bar over there, great restaurant you can eat food at. Tickets are very, expensive, not expensive, apologize. Tickets are inexpensive to where, you can have a great experience. And that's what it's about. It's a fan-friendly experience, something fun for your family that's very unique. It's different. And, you don't want to travel all the way up to Smyrna to see the Braves in the summertime. You can bring your kids to our stadium. They can play in our kids zone. You can be comfortable, not around any profanity, any really rude people in the stands. Everybody's having fun, laughing, having a great experience. And that's kind of what the draw is. It's, we've got a lot of stuff going on in the games with our MC. We do on the field promotions as well. On the 5th of May, it's Cinco de Mayo, one of our promotions. We're going to have a pinata out there. We're going to have kids that can hit the pinata and get candy. So that's going to be a really fun one for the kids to get out there. We've got a lot of food specials based around the Mexican culture, drink specials as well. And that's kind of what our brand is all about. It's about having fun and entertainment. We've got a great product on the field in terms of our team that we feel is going to be a playoff team this year, hopefully a championship team, but we also like to entertain you as well.
So if you make it to the playoffs, or we'll say you are making it to the playoffs, and so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in our division, there's 3 teams that qualify. So the top 2 seeds will host a playoff game. So the 3 will go to the 2. Winner of that will go to the 1. If you win that and you win your division, you qualify for championship weekend, which is the winner of the 4 divisions. So those 4 teams will go and play 2 games on a Friday and 1 game on a Saturday in Minnesota this year.
Then you're national champions.
And then you're, AUDL champions.
AUDL champions.
There's a trophy and everything.
So when you all win that,
yes,
are we going to have a big party back here at Silverback Stadium when you get back?
Our banner ceremony. We've got some thoughts about how we're going to unveil the banner. I don't know about rings. I feel like that might not be in the budget this year, but
that was in the budget for me. I kind of put the rings out there. I don't know how the boss feels about that, but yeah.
So have you all won a national championship before?
No. We've been in the playoffs twice. We're 1-1. Or sorry, 1-2, because we won our first game. We went to the playoffs the first time. We won, kind of upset the higher seeded team, and then we walked into a juggernaut, and they went on and won the championship, and then we qualified again one more time. So we're hoping that this is the year. Yep. This is the year where it all comes together, because Atlanta's been sort of considered a hotbed of ultimate. Honestly, the Atlanta alumni team is probably the strongest team ever put together, right? Like if you were to say like the best people to ever come out of Atlanta. And there's people playing from Atlanta, all these different teams across the country. But we've never really strung it together. And this is an age-old story with Atlanta sports, right? Recently, the Braves have kind of found it. Yeah. But, it's winning the big game and coming through and having the fans be able to, say, hey, this is a real winner here. And so we feel like we've turned that corner, and we're really about to, this is the time to get on the bandwagon is what I would say.
And you've been around for, I think, 6 years?
Yeah, 2015 was our first year.
So that's pretty cool. And you've been in Silverback Stadium for the last 2 years?
Yeah. It's a great facility. They do a good job. They're always constantly improving something. Just covered their patio now, so you have outdoor seating while you're watching the game. Yeah. We've got they've got TVs everywhere, and the field was recently redone last year. So it's really nice to have that kind of medium-sized stadium. Like the Braves. Some of those stadiums are really, really big. You feel like you're far away from everything. Right. You're 15 yards away from the action here. It's fantastic.
Well, it's in a great location, easy accessible off the interstate. I mean, it's right off 85, and it's really not far from like Chamblee Tucker Road cutoff. So you have easy in and out, convenient to restaurants off the interstate and all. It gets you kind of around to besides the food that's already there. So you can have dinner and come to the game. You can have dinner at the game. You can go to the game and go to dinner afterwards. So it's a great evening out with the family.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when I'm trying to get folks to come by, like that our first game as an example, we had $1 wings, we had Coca-Cola slushies. So it was like, come on in, get some wings, have a slushie, get yourself a beer, hang out in the bar a little bit, find yourself a seat and watch the action. You're going to see 5 or 10 plays that could be on SportsCenter every game. There's really like the way the disc floats. There's always these like great jumping plays. The guys are diving to make catches all the time, and we talked about how awesome it is to watch the disc fly. And some people they may not eat at the stadium, but they're going to go to Beaufort Highway and get some pho after the game. And so it becomes a really like a great social thing. And even if you don't love sports, like it's just really a fun time because our DJ is great. There's music all the time. So if you've been to a Hawks game, they play music during the play. We do the same thing. We just turn the music down a little bit so there's no dead air. You're listening to good tunes for 2 hours around people who are having a great time. It's really a great time.
Now, I believe you mentioned we were talking before the show started. You're going to be on a national televised or talk about that.
Yeah, it's a great point. So every week the league picks one game to kind of put on their. It's on Fox Sports too. So they bring their production crew down and they do 5-6 cameras and instant replay and all that stuff and has the top announcers. And so July 22nd we're going to be hosting Carolina for the final game of the season. think the league thinks this could potentially be the decider of who's having a playoff home game.
Wow.
So we think the stakes are pretty high. We'll see how the season shakes out. We're hoping to lock it up well before then.
Yeah.
But I think that's traditionally been one of our best attended games, great crowds, and we want to show the country that the Atlanta Ultimate community is strong and thriving.
So May 5th, May 12th,
May 12th.
and in June.
We got May 27th.
May
Memorial
27th.
Day.
May 7th.
So we're doing a Hustle Heroes Night,
Yep.
May 27th. Then June 17th is the blackout game, so we want everybody to wear black. We're trying to support the local HBCU Ultimate team that's trying to get off the ground. And then is it the 22nd the last one?
Yeah, July 22nd is the last game. Yep.
So still that gives you five more games,
Yep.
6 more games.
Yeah, 6 total, 5 more.
So great opportunity to still see some great ultimate frisbee.
Yep.
So any great stories y'all want to talk about from a game or anything like that, or?
Oh man, it depends. I feel like every year something happens, whether the guys are stuck in airport security and they have to hold the plane for us, or somebody went to the wrong airport in Dallas. Like it's the road in the AUDL is always an exciting place, or something's always happening. So nothing particular coming to mind right now.
So with you being new as the sales and marketing and there's got to be some good stories from you.
So far with the hustle, stories have been very, very generic. Just really starting to get this season off the ground.
To his credit, first game, nothing bad happened,
Right.
Because he did a great job.
Did a great job.
Everything was covered and prepared, and I had nothing but great feedback from fans about the experience.
Right.
So what we need to do is start a campaign about getting him the mascot outfit.
Yeah, that's it.
You know
That's
what?
the piece we're missing. Yeah, it's
We've
only
got-
getting hotter too.
Listen, we have an intern, an assistant. I think we can get him. I am all for that. But yeah,
I don't know if we got 1,000 fans, to sign up and get tickets this week. Maybe would you wear a costume? We'd have to get one.
if 1,000 people show up, then yes, I
Right.
will wear the mascot costume for sure.
Right.
For about 30 minutes because it's definitely hot in Georgia for a mascot costume.
I'll take it easy on you. 5 minutes.
Okay,
Max.
awesome.
Yeah, it's hot to have an outfit on. That's without a doubt.
Definitely.
I want to make sure that, especially the folks in Doraville, that they've got a great experience right there. For some people, walking distance.
Right.
The Northwest neighborhood, which I'm a resident, is you can literally walk across the street and go to the park. And why fight all this traffic over the top end of the perimeter to get to a Braves game and pay 3 times as much money when there's something really awesome locally that you can support and be part of the community. And so we really want to do a better job of becoming a tentpole part of the community locally.
Well, there's nothing better than right here in DeKalb, right here in Doraville, having a pro ultimate frisbee team, and a great facility, easy to get to. So, I mean, that's exciting.
Yep. And I'll definitely add, from the fan experience, there's nothing better. The sport is very fun, athletic. I'll tell you a story about my son. I took my son to training camp to watch the players kind of warm up, and when we were leaving, he's 8 years old now. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I want to play. This is what I want to play." And being a parent in Atlanta, and obviously football's king here, but I have a daughter that was a cheerleader at one point, and then my son wants to play football too. Those are expensive sports to get into. Cheerleading expensive, as well as football for the equipment. For our sport, it's very inexpensive to get started. You just need a frisbee, a group of friends, and then when you come to the game, you'll definitely see why it's the fastest growing sport in America. It's fun, it's fast, exciting, athletic. As John mentioned before, we've had former football players play this sport and dominate. And the reason why they love it is because it's athletic. You can jump over somebody. There's diving catches. It's definitely an experience that once you see it once, you're going to want to come back. And I think that's the lasting impression we want to leave as the Atlanta Hustle. And here in DeKalb County, we're your professional sport, and we want to continue to grow with you and with the community.
Yeah, I also want to plug that although we've talked mostly about the experience in the stadium, we have one of the real strengths of Ultimate as a sport is it's very photogenic. We have fantastic photos and videos. We have a video platform for people once they become fans to be able to watch all the games. But like, if you follow our Instagram, Facebook, we have fantastic videos. The highlights are just endless every week. Especially the season has started now, and it's nonstop going through your feed. These great highlights. So I would say check that out, and you can get a really good experience or sense for what the experience is like, and you come out and try it.
Right.
So if they want to see your Facebook, Instagram, what is it? Atlanta
Hustle.
Atlanta Hustle?
Platforms.
Atlanta Hustle. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then your website is?
theaudl.com/hustle and shop.atlantahustle.com.
Oh, I like that shop.
Shop.
Get your
Yep.
outfit.
Yep.
Yeah, we got purple, we got polos, we
Polos,
got
hats, jerseys, disc. Everything you need is in that team store.
Yeah, the stadium staff this week actually was complimenting us. He was like, "Yeah, your fans really wear your gear a lot more than a lot of other folks we see around." So I guess shout out to our fans for that, but also I think we have some good good colors and good stuff. Yeah,
Sold out of hats our first game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Shirts were selling out fast too.
that's
So,
great.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Drew and John, I really appreciate you coming out to the show. We're excited to have you. Again, May 5th, you're going to be playing Carolina Flyers, which is a major grudge match, I guess.
Yep.
May 12th, you're going to be having another grudge match against Austin Souls.
Yep.
And then you have 3 more games the end of May and June. So be sure to come out and take a look at the game.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you coming to our podcast.